connected on Clubhouse, right? And that, I don't know if all of you are using Clubhouse yet, but I have loved it. How long have you been?
Clubhouse is the best.
How long have you been on the platform now?
Okay, so I've probably been on Clubhouse for about a month and a half now, and Sam, we are, just so everyone know, we are definitely live now on Facebook, so it's great. And you're super clear on Facebook and LinkedIn. It's very like, yeah, and Tally's on here too. Hey, Tally.
How's it going?
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I see all of the platforms now. I think it's my first time using all the technology. So
I know. And for you guys that don't know, we are literally like double boxing right now with Facebook and Instagram. It's annoying that the same company owns Facebook and Instagram, but they won't merge the two.
we got computer camera, so we're going.
We're smart. So yeah, I remember I saw you on Clubhouse. I joined one of the rooms I was in, and I pulled you up on stage because I saw one of your reels that went viral about how because Sam is a Harvard alum and she also was on Law Review, so she's on the wall along with Barack Obama, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and like of course that went viral. It's just such an amazing accomplishment.
It was wild. Yeah. I mean, like at Harvard, they have this whole building on campus that's, where you work out of, when you're on Law Review. And it is just crazy to think, like the people who've been there before, right? So many names that have gone down in legal history. So it's an honor to have that opportunity.
It's so cool. And then I just recognized you, and I was like, okay, come up on here and tell us about your TikTok. And then from there, I think we just kept connecting. And it's the same thing like with Tally, who's on here too. Like people are actually building real relationships using these platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. I've met so many professionals between TikTok and now Clubhouse. Both people who I've had the opportunity to collaborate with, like you here today, and people who could become clients one day, or who are in different spaces, and we can figure out how the intersectionality of the two disciplines there. So it's very, very exciting, and I've loved it. I've also had the opportunity to, talk to some of my favorite musicians or other, totally.
It's so cool. But I think on Friday night, I was like, what's going on in Clubhouse on a Friday night? And it was interesting. MC Hammer was on giving a talk, and then they had a Truth or Dare group. It was an interesting place for Clubhouse that night.
And you see the wildest collaborations. I think, I was in a room with MC Hammer, Paris Hilton, Diplo, some other DJs, and then all these VCs and tech people and CEOs. You just see a lot of weird mix-ups, and it's great.
And for the people that just joined, we're not talking about exclusive events. This is Clubhouse. We definitely need to spend time, Sam, talking about Clubhouse, because I feel like it's popular, but not a lot of lawyers. Well, I should say there are a lot of lawyers using it, but it's not totally mainstream yet. So we definitely need to talk to explain to everyone why it's important.
Agreed.
But before we do that, I just want to get into your background, because you have such an awesome, you've done so much, and we also overlap in the IP field. So I kind of want to hear just about you and your background. I know everyone else wants to hear too. So I know what you studied in college, but tell us what field you studied, and if that led you to law school, let us know.
Sure. So when I was, 17 or 18 and deciding what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, applying to colleges, picking majors, I thought at the time I might go to med school. And so I picked this major. Microbiology, immunology, and molecular genetics was the full long-winded title. And somehow I stuck with it for 4 years. I realized probably around my sophomore year, like year 2 of college, that medical school wasn't for me and it wasn't the path I wanted to take. But I'd always loved, science, and if possible, I wanted a way to incorporate it into a future career. So yeah, and after that, like, I started exploring different career options, and I realized I didn't really love being, kind of isolated in the lab, which is a lot of like what you do when you're a microbiologist.
Of course, yeah.
And I'd always been interested in the law, always had done Model United Nations, which is kind of like a debate, negotiation, policy kind of extracurricular activity. And eventually it led me to law school. So finding out about, I certainly didn't always know I wanted to go to law school. And I didn't always know I wanted to do IP, but it kind of, the path presented itself at some point, and I took the opportunity.
Did you always want to go to Harvard?
It was my dream school when I was applying to undergrad. So it was like something I'd really wanted for a long time. I have no idea where the obsession with Boston came from, but I, like, growing up,
because you're a California girl.
Yeah, but at some point I became like obsessed with like the Celtics and like the Red Sox, and I really wanted to go out to Boston. And I'd applied to, like, I applied to mostly California schools except for like Harvard, Boston College, Boston University. For some reason, it was just like I just wanted to go to Boston.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and so I didn't get into Harvard the first time around, but I eventually made my way back there. So it was always kind of a dream, and I never thought it would happen after that first rejection. But here we are.
It's so amazing, and it clearly steered like the direction of your career as a big law attorney.
Sure.
When you get into those schools, it really does. It presents opportunities, and you worked insanely hard, Sam. You're incredibly talented, guys. Not only did she go to Harvard, but she was on law review, and like I said, her picture was with Barack and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's just an incredible accomplishment. So from law school, though, how did you then specifically get into IP, and did your science background help that?
Yeah, so when I decided to go to law school, I was kind of I didn't know exactly what I wanted to practice. And I thought about sports and entertainment law because those were, outside interests. And I had no idea really what that entailed, though, before I went to law school.
I know, no one does.
As soon as you start law school and you start talking about your background, a lot of people started saying, wow, you have this science degree that's kind of rare in the field, and you should really look into IP law or look into patent law. So as soon as the opportunity presented itself, I took like an intro to IP class, and I really liked it. So I was pretty skeptical. I wasn't sure it's what I wanted to do, but I tried it out, and I ended up really falling in love. So at this point in my career, I'm still doing like all types of IP, but I'm not exactly, what the future will hold in terms of where I'll narrow it down and specialize. But yeah, it's cool. And like, I kind of wanted to do sports and entertainment, and now being on the other side, there's so much of that overlaps with IP. It really does kind of play a role in every industry. So it's something I've really enjoyed so far.
Yeah, and not only do you do IP, but you do a very niche area of it. You're a litigator, which is a whole nother. You need to not only know how to understand trademarks, copyrights, life sciences, patents, trade secrets, but you need to know how to litigate. That's like a whole other skill. So when you started, did you have an idea that you wanted to do litigation, or again, it was something you kind of fell into and started liking?
Yeah, I pretty much knew I wanted to do litigation from the start. During college, around my junior year, after I decided that I probably wanted to go to law school, I did an internship, bless you, at a small like legal office. I worked as a legal assistant, part-time during college, and it was all litigation. So I kind of got a feel for it, kind of saw that it was what was interesting to me. So I pretty much knew I liked that aspect as well, but I didn't have any sort of background in the transactional side. I mean, as you know, law school doesn't really focus on the transactional side either.
Yeah, I know.
So law school kind of just reaffirmed, that I liked litigation. I can't say, honestly, I explored all of what transactional law, this law side of things has to offer. But maybe one day I'll do a little bit of both.
You just started, right? Did you just graduate?
Yeah, I guess pretty much a year ago now, but yeah, it's been.
Oh my gosh, yeah, so you're a junior. You're a junior lawyer. You're a baby.
Just starting out, and it was like a wild summer with the bar exam this year with COVID. But happy to be on the other side.
Yeah, totally. And it's really amazing. I love hearing the stories of the people who took the bar, which was a whole crazy, accomplishment. I feel like what potential employers, when they look at resumes, they're going to say like, oh, that's the year, like summer 2020. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You guys are rock stars, and it's really incredible. And to see you guys get these great jobs, like I love it. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's tough, right? There's such a set time period that you usually study for this exam. And, you have like daily, you're supposed to study this thing on this day. And when, after you've been studying for a month, they say that the exam is 3 months later, it kind of just throws everything off, right? And it's already kind of a brutal 2 months of studying. So to make that a 5-month period was not ideal. But I'm done with it now, so.
Yeah, you're done with it now. Thank God, and to everyone, congrats. And I just want to go back to, you said something interesting, how like you haven't really explored yet the transactional stuff, and you really are just getting started in your career. So for you and the people who are litigators and maybe you want to try something different, I have a lot of friends who made that shift when they may have just been full-on litigators, like not even a special IP experience, and then wanted to get into the more transactional, and that's totally, something that's possible. And that's what I love about intellectual property law, is that it's so broad, it's so all-encompassing, and you're constantly learning, and you can constantly learn a new skill set to kind of transform your practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I absolutely love the litigation side of things, but it's so cool to learn about all the different things you can do with it. And I'm sure I'll be using you as a resource as I start out here.
Yeah, definitely. And because for people that really aren't familiar and like want to hear more, so I do everything except litigation. I will research names for potential trademarks. I'll help file trademarks. Same thing with copyright. I basically do general counseling and all the contract related matters. And then once things get litigious, like I'll do enforcement, I'll send demand letters, I'll negotiate. But once it gets very litigious, I don't have a lot of litigation experience. And we have like an amazing litigator and the litigation team here. So I just work with them, and I know where my skills lie and where they don't.
Yep.
So
it's up to me,
It's what?
I said, you can pass it off to me, right?
Totally. Yeah. Right. And what's funny is like, because I was in big law, I just moved to an IP boutique, and there's times where I work things out. Like there's times we're conflicted out, or maybe they want like an LA lawyer. So the people listening on here, like other firms are not your competitors. Like they're your clients. They're the people you network with. Those people that can send you business. Just don't think of it as a competition. Think of it as a competition.
Yeah, I've really seen that a lot. Using
so many people.
But social media has really showed me, the other sides of the law and how collaborative a lot of attorneys are, and how, I, as someone on social media, sometimes people reach out to me, asking for legal advice, and my current employment doesn't really allow me to take on individual clients. So I've been able to pass those, individuals along to people I've met, and it could just be, it's great to network, right? It's the relationships are so important in every field, but especially in the law.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm gonna start pulling. Lawyer Britt does this. She has like a referral list. She made a post the other day and was like, "Oh, if you're a real estate lawyer, like fill out this form." I have to do that because I can't tell you how many times I have someone say, "Oh, I need like I have a real estate matter, or I have a family matter," and then it's good for us to have referrals too because you want to work with someone you trust, but. Again, this is like your referral client network. It's super important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. And it's like, it's hard when you don't know people in those spaces because you don't want to turn people away or, say, Google it. But I agree. It's so helpful to have that network. And social media is a great place to start that.
Oh my gosh, totally. I feel like, and we'll talk about this, how with lawyers it used to be less, it was more sketchy, it wasn't as like legitimate to be just a lawyer on social, and now I'm getting so much work through social from people that I don't know, but also in that network of people that I know of, like former classmates and contact, even other lawyers.
Yeah.
And Sam, even though you're a big law right now, and yes, I know you're working on like huge deals, Fortune 500 clients, eventually wherever you leave, or even if you stay there for a while, you're going to want to start to build your own book. And having your network in place now is critical for when that time comes.
Oh, absolutely. And, for anyone listening who's still in law school or, wanting to go to law school, I can't stress how important it is to just get out there and meet people. And, even if you're shy or not good at like going to that networking event and talking to people, that's like the beauty of stuff like Clubhouse or, where you can, or LinkedIn, where you can just communicate in a different medium that's maybe more comfortable to you. So I agree. It's very important. And I'm very happy that the community is recognizing social media as more of a legitimate, part of the legal world now instead of this black sheep.
Yeah, and I know we talked about this, but I would love for other people to hear how you incorporated your social media by being in big law. Because when I was at Denton's, I started mine after leaving Denton's. And I think part of it was I was nervous to really do things, market my own. So how have you been able to do that within the realm of big law?
Yeah. So, when I started out my account, I was still a law student, and obviously that was, a little bit easier. I didn't have, a professional reputation to protect as much, but the whole time I was always cognizant that this was a very public facing app, and I would never want to do something on there that I wouldn't, want a coworker or grandma to see. So I think that mindset, kind of started when I started my account, and that helped it become kind of a seamless transition when I went into the more like corporate world where I, maybe had to follow some guidelines.
Social media policy,
yeah. Social media. But overall, it hasn't been an issue. I think most firms probably have a policy or guidelines that they want you to follow. And as long as the gist of any social media policy is what I described, right? Like, be professional, don't do anything that you wouldn't want a client to see or a coworker. So really just balancing that. I was very open with the firm too, that I, wanted to remain in compliance. I have this account, I know this is kind of awkward to be emailing you about my TikTok account, but I just want to make sure I'm complying with all of the social media guidelines and able to continue this in a way that won't negatively affect either of us. So hasn't been an issue, which I've been really thankful for.
I mean, it's great publicity for the firm. And Sam, you're the next gen. I love it. I am so excited for your generation of lawyers, because you guys don't, you're like, okay, this is me. I have this account. Like here it is. Do you have problems with it? Versus us, where I have so many friends who are like, oh my God, I love what you're doing. I wish I could do it, but I'm nervous because I'm in big law. And I'm just super excited to see where you guys go with it and how you continue, because I hope that more firms do start being more open about it. Like the head of my firm here is on here right now. Hi, Tina. She's amazing. She's super encouraging, but I'm sure that there's firms that still don't want their associates out there putting out all this content and maybe getting in trouble for ethical issues, like whatever it is, but this is the new reality, and they're either going to embrace you guys or you're going to find employment elsewhere. Like, that's how I feel.
Yeah. I think it's a balance, right? If creating content or doing this other thing is important to you and a priority in your life, then you need to find a way to balance them and make it harmonious. And at this point, it's TikTok, even as silly as it sounds, has become important to me. I've met so many great people. I've been able to take on so many mentees and teach so many people about law school and legal careers and all these things I had no idea about before I started. And, I wish I would have had someone telling me all that information when I was a senior in college. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to, I want to keep sharing that. And like you said, I do think it's going to become more the norm. I do think the world is recognizing the educational potential of a lot of these platforms, not just the entertainment side. And I also think, look, when our generation's running for president, they always dig up dirt on everyone, but everyone's going to have social media.
Literally. Remember that time where she funneled a beer? Okay, right. You did too, but you just weren't on camera back then.
Exactly. So, I think it's going to be a cultural shift, right? There's just not going to be this. And even when, I think I remember when AOC ran recently, some videos of her came up in college and people were trying to bash her, dancing and having fun, but her constituency, I love her. So I do think it's just going to be a cultural shift, but happy that it's changing at the time when I am coming up in the profession.
Yeah, it's just when I was in law school 2014, I graduated 2014. We had a blog. We did a blog called Urban Legality, and we were fashion industry. And I would put that on my resume, and it actually all the girls who did it, literally one's at Tiffany, one's at Michael Kors, another one is at G3 right now. They're all in these fashion brands and I'm doing fashion law. So by using these social media platforms, I feel like blogging was version 1.0. Now we're at 2.0 with TikTok and Instagram. So by using that, you're literally able to shape your career and get jobs.
Yeah, I had no idea the potential of these platforms as a professional tool, right? I thought it was a one way. I'm being able to educate people. I'm, being able to share knowledge. But I kind of thought of it like YouTube or something where okay, you put up these videos and they see them. And I didn't realize how interactive it could be, especially using live and these other types of things. and B, the networking opportunities, like we talked about before. So it's wild, you know, it's been really great, even though it's kind of started out as, you know, a whim.
So let's just jump right in to your social media account. So what made you start the TikTok? Did you go viral immediately? Like, tell us how you kind of got started and what really kicked it off.
So so when I started my account and when I started posting legal content are two different things. I started my account, I believe, the beginning of 2019, but nobody was using TikTok right then, especially not in my age group. And I didn't tell anyone, you know, I didn't tell any of my friends. I think my roommate was the only one who knew. And I wasn't like really posting content. You know, I posted one or two things, but those are the, you know, a dance, something fun like that. Nothing to do with law or what I was doing in my personal life. And one or two videos actually had, you know, maybe like 30,000 views or something. And I got so scared of people in my real life finding it that I deleted the videos, like deleted the account. I like, you know, erased it from my phone like 5 times. But I revisited it at some point. Mostly during the pandemic, it became like mainstream and more acceptable to post on it. So I think I posted my first legal content adjacent video was just kind of like a joke playing on one of the trends, like, haha, like graduated top of my class at Harvard Law School, but now I'm living in my parents' house because of COVID.
That's really funny. It's not funny, but it's like you can like poke fun at yourself. Like,
so that one went like pretty viral for me. It had at the time like over 100,000 views or something.
That's viral, girl.
Yeah, it was a big jump, and then people were like, "Hi, like, you know, just asking all these questions about law school." So I posted a couple videos answering them, and that's kind of where it took off. I saw this whole people apparently wanted to follow me to learn this information, and that's where it kind of started. So it was kind of like a slow burn at the beginning, and then at some point it just jumped. I think I had a video that had maybe 1.5 million views. Wow. Where I just talk about exactly how much money I owe because of law school.
That's the stuff, though. It's so authentic and genuine. Like, it's not scripted. It's real. You're talking about real issues that other people can relate to, like with student loans. I'm just law. It's huge.
It was definitely spur of the moment. I would have worn makeup if I knew 1.5 million people would be seeing me.
That's so funny. But I think there's something to that too. Like, of course, like we're wearing makeup like for a scheduled event, you know, but there's times where I just like take out my phone because I have like a spur of the moment idea. And some of those videos like have gotten tens of thousands of views.
Yeah. The two videos that I've had, like my two most liked videos were both spur of the moment videos. Wasn't wearing a drop of makeup, you know, and clearly that plays, right? Part of it was I had a good idea, and that's why I like needed to get it pen to paper. But part of it is I think the authenticity, and I think that really comes through on places like TikTok or Instagram, where you're sharing your life as well as this professional persona. So
yeah, I'm on TikTok, but I'm not viral. I think I got into the game like a little bit late. Tally and I were talking about that, but even like my videos are like fine. But some of them, the one that went the most viral was this random video where I spent like a month working on an article for my law journal. I was the editor-in-chief of Curto's Arts and Entertainment Law Journal, and now they're asking me to submit something for their fashion law symposium. So I had to write like a 30-page legal article, and the only way to do that as a practitioner is the weekend. And I have my son, like my husband's downstairs, so I was like, I don't want to be holed up in my room upstairs. So he made this like makeshift desk out of like a pull-out table, plastic table, and then got put my monitor downstairs, and it's just in the middle of our great room. And he's watching football, and then I have my baby in the like next to me in a like a little ball pit.
Mm-hmm.
And I took one video of that, probably like 8 seconds, and it got over like 100,000 views and like a ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, it's very hard to tell what's gonna go viral. It's so hard to, like, you know, I've had ideas that I thought would take off and they didn't, and I've had ideas that I didn't think would go anywhere and they did. So that's kind of one of the things I've really liked about TikTok, though, is I think you have the opportunity to like hit big, you know, reach a wide audience in a way that you might not have on other platforms. So that's been one of the things that initially drew me to it. Although, like I said, when I first started out, I was too scared of going viral.
I was like nervous to tell the head of my firm. I like messaged her. I was like, so I don't want you to like freak out, but I have this social media account, and like I think I'm gonna do a live, just so you know. I'm gonna post it on LinkedIn. Like, don't freak out. She's like, oh my God, I love this. This is amazing. Why would I freak out? I'm all for it. She tells me like add it to my signature lines and stuff.
I love it. Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I reached out to my firm, like, you know, trying to say like, hi, like, I know I haven't met you, you know, the person in compliance I'm talking to, but I just wanted to let you know about this. It was very nerve-wracking, but, you know, it works out, right?
Totally. I just realized, so I got this new camera, the Logitech. It makes you plug it into the same plug where your power source is plugged in, which is super annoying.
Well, that's
so
annoying.
Now it's saying I'm on low battery on my laptop. So we may need to end that live stream, the Facebook and LinkedIn, early, but we'll keep going on. Keep going on here.
No worries. Yeah, you'll have to get one of those docks where you can kind of just, you know, extend it to multiple ports.
I keep saying like I'm continuing to like level up every day. Like I'm not every day, every week. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Do you have a camera?
Yeah, I do have some external camera, but you know, my firm sent it to me. Avere Media does a trick. You said it was clear on the video, so I'll take it.
Yeah, you're really clear. It looks good. It's good. So I just we have so much to talk about. I think we should talk about Clubhouse.
All right. You want to kick it off and explain it to the people?
Yeah, I'll explain it, and then you tell us like how you started using it and why you think it's beneficial. So Clubhouse, I like to say, it's where podcasting meets networking meets live. And they're little chat rooms. You can go into them, you can create them. And it's in beta right now, so it's not really open to the public. You need an invite to join, and so the population in it is a little bit smaller. So like Sam was saying, you're able to get like CEOs, celebrities, people that charge thousands of dollars per hour are giving you like free advice. It's just such a cool platform. And then you can actually request to speak on there and ask questions directly. So Sam, how have you been using it? Are you addicted yet? Like, tell us about your use.
Yeah, so I think I officially joined the platform about 6 weeks ago, and I hadn't, you know, for the first week or two, I didn't really use it. I didn't go on. I didn't understand what was going on. And at some point, I can't remember what happened. I think a friend was about to speak in a room or something, and they were like, oh, come listen. And I like finally started using the app, and now I definitely am addicted.
It's terrible. Like in the weekend, are you on it? Like sometimes I'm on it like listening the whole time.
Oh yeah. And you know, it's nice because it is like, sometimes it's like a music or a podcast. Like you can use it how you'd use those. Like if you're going on a walk or if you're doing some work that, you know, doesn't require a lot of thought and you can kind of have that on in the background. So I've used it for the entertainment side. You know, there's funny rooms where it's like, I don't know, like a dating room where they're like giving guys advice. That it could be like really funny. I think they had the millionaire matchmaker who used to have a TV show. She did a room about like dating advice. And
I thought they were like literally matching people.
Yeah.
I'm sure people use that for that too.
She did a room with one of the sharks from Shark Tank. And so they were like collabing on like, you know, what rich people, millionaire matchmaker, I don't know. But it was very entertaining. So I've used it for that side, but I think what you're alluding to and what I've seen has been great is the networking and getting to learn, right? I've certainly done a lot of legal related rooms, either hosting it and chatting with other attorneys or fielding questions from those who want to know more about the profession. And so I've met a lot of attorneys through that. I've gone and listened to a lot of the great talks, you know, like yours and like everyone else's, where that I get to learn a little bit more about their specialty or learn about that like aspect of the law or of a legal career that I didn't know about. But I've also loved getting the opportunity to connect with people in other fields.
Yes.
Like I said, like IP obviously touches everything. So I'll go into a room about, you know, just to listen, like on video games or sports or something, mostly just there to listen. And sometimes they'll be like, oh, look, an IP lawyer, like, let's pull her up on the stage to like, you know, chat. And, you know, while I am relatively new, I'm not the most seasoned person out there. As an attorney, we still have a heck of a lot more knowledge about these types of issues than a layperson. So, I mean, I've been able to, you know, explain what some concepts are and met a lot of people because of it. Like I said, like one of my, like a musician that I loved DM'd me on Instagram and was like, hi, like, can I call you about, like, I have a question. So
cool. These are opportunities, yeah, through Clubhouse and through social that you wouldn't get any other way. And clearly with COVID right now, like this is how people are networking and doing business and staying connected.
Yeah. Oh, I saw, what's my Clubhouse? It's the same as my Instagram username, but without the period, just legally Sammy. But yeah, it's been great because I have, like everyone else, felt a bit disconnected, and it's been so hard, especially going from like, you know, before coronavirus, I was a student and I had lived around all of my friends and we had all these fun plans for like law prom and graduation coming up and spring break and bar trips and all of those kind of like passed without happening. And it's been this weird place where I haven't got to connect as much. You know, you use Zoom, you get to experience friends in a new way. But with Clubhouse, it's been a great way to be connected, and it's a great way to meet new people, which has been extremely absent from my last year.
Yeah, I think it literally couldn't have come out at a better time. I'm so annoyed that my computer is going to die, but it will. So what I think I'm going to do, Sam, is I'm going to end it on Facebook and LinkedIn. There's a couple of people watching on here. So for you guys on Facebook and LinkedIn, join us on Instagram if you can. Mine is at the Trademark Attorney, and Sam is at legally.sammy.